Hello, everyone, and welcome to the series premiere of Real Film Reviews Podcast. I'm Eric,
JD.
and today we're going to talk about movies. Now, we are probably one of the millions of YouTube reviewers on YouTube, so we're going to do it anyway. I've always wanted to do it. Now we're doing it. Got our own podcast, so got my buddy here. We're going to talk about movies, and today we're going to talk about the movie Commando from 1985.
And as people that love to talk, because it's probably a really good movie to start with.
Yeah. And also, since it's our first episode, and I know that people, going to try to watch us, what I wanted to do was, this is the year 2025. I was born in 1985. By the end of this year, I'm going to be 40. So I decided to look up a whole lot of movies that were take place in 1985, and we're going to hopefully continue this and talk about more of them. Maybe not all, but we're going to do it anyway. And I figured the first one to start with is a cheeseball classic as Commando from 1985. It's directed by Mark L. Lester, music by James Horner, produced by Joel Silver, cinematography by Matthew F. Leonetti, and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger, Ray Dong Chong, Alyssa Milano, Bill Duke, Vernon Wells, Dan Hedaya, and David Patrick Kelly. Budget of the movie was $10 million. Ended up making $57.5 million.
Oh, that's actually a pretty good income to make.
Released in October 4th of 1980.
Now, this director, I got curious and actually looked him up just to see what other movies he did. He's very big on wanting to do, he leans, I guess, more into wanting to do like military and cop stuff. There's apparently, it seemed like he was famous for, I think it was 1985. I think there was like a school year thing, but he came out with two movies like that. I think the second movie is 1999, but I don't know what they're about. I think it's supposed to be a horror thing. But then there's another movie he came out with that, yeah, checking my notes. I actually got it on a phone on like grandpa right here.
Right.
I got the movie was called Showdown in Little Tokyo with Dolph Lundgren, which honestly, I'd actually like to review that one because it's got to be that same level of goofiness. If it can be like Commando, but with just, him, like, sure, I'm okay with that.
So the movie received praise for the action sequences and humor. The film was a commercial success at the box office and was nominated for a Saturn Award for Best Special Effects, but lost to Back to the Future.
Now, I got a question for you since you did more of the research in terms of the stuff here. I looked up, and this movie came out after Rambo, but it came out at the same time as Rambo 2. And I was wondering if this movie was inspired by Rambo because the colonel or whoever, the military guy that popped up, he was referring to him as John, but I know like other people referred to him as Matrix. And I was wondering if that was a nod to that or just kind of like a weird thing they did.
I don't know. It was, I guess they just wanted to name him John Matrix.
Well, what made it interesting to me too is because obviously we'll get to that part later because it's later in the tail end of the movie. But when he's running around with that giant machine gun, and I was wondering which Rambo did it happen and where he was doing that.
I think it's the second one.
Was the second one or third? Because second and this one came out at the same time.
Because the second one, when Rambo goes into the room and he uses that machine gun to shoot everything, and then he does the in the air.
I do.
It was definitely the second one.
I did. Let me look this up real quick. I know. Obviously, we shouldn't. What was it? This movie apparently came out before The Predator and Terminator 2, which I thought was kind of interesting because I felt like this would have popped up after because of how much more fame those movies have.
Yeah.
I could see Predator 2, not Predator 2, wasn't in that one. I see Terminator 2 for sure because that was like, right in that was 1991, right?
Yes.
So yeah, I could see that, but the fact that this came out before Predator is interesting. Knowing the kind of a little bit of the background story behind that and all.
All right. So basically the movie's about retired Special Forces soldier John Matrix Arnold lives with his daughter Jenny in isolation, but his private life is disturbed by former Commander Franklin Kirby, played by James Olsen.
That's the Colonel, right?
Yes.
The guy who talked. He had probably the shittiest military outfit I ever seen.
Yeah.
It literally was just a sweater with like sewed on patches. Only 2 stars. I don't really know the military ranking, but I don't think 2 stars is enough. And then he just had like this little patch. It looked like it just came from Hobby Lobby, the way they put that together. But hey, I understand. You got to make do with what you can. I'd rather it be campy and cheesy and just go for it.
Well, not Jack Kirby, Franklin Kirby warns him that his fellow soldiers are being killed one by one. After Kirby leaves, his daughter Jenny's taken by former Latin American dictator Arias by Dan Hedaya, who wants Matrix to restore him to power. Instead, Matrix sets out to take down the rogue leader and rescue his daughter. Simple action plot.
Well, I mean, that's really all you need. I was thinking about this. I didn't grab the time frame, but I meant to go back and see how fast we jumped into the action because, I mean, you do see the beginning part, but it was like right when they attack him at home. I was like, I feel like it was like 5 minutes into the movie, and it was like, bam, that fight already happened where, you know, he gets assaulted in his home and his daughter gets kidnapped. But you do see the goons in the beginning of the movie as well.
Yeah.
Which I guess we could start talking about that unless you got other stuff you want to keep going.
More things.
All right, go ahead, because I'll bring it up when we start actually talking about the movie.
Writer Jeff Loeb said the original script was about an Israeli soldier who had renounced violence. The script was originally written for Gene Simmons of Kiss.
I kind of wanted to see that movie now. I'd just like to see how the fuck it would work because one thing I'll say, and this is just the beginning of the movie, I put down a check that we had to see Arnold's biceps, both of them, where he's carrying the log. I always think that's funny in like that movie, in Total Recall, when he has the jackhammer and you just like, dear Lord, his arms. I know he's a bodybuilder, but good God, it always impresses me.
But Gene Simmons turned it down.
Thank God.
And Stephen E. D'Souza rewrote it for Arnold. Vernon Wells was the first choice for Captain Bennett, mostly because of his role in Mad Max 2, Road Warrior. Did you ever see the second one?
Yes.
He was the guy with the red mohawk and wearing the leather things.
Oh, yeah, because that was... Yeah, okay, I remember. Yeah. That was like Gas Town, right? They had the Gas Town for...
Man, it's been a while since I've seen that.
I feel like it was Gas Town, then it was Thunderdome for 3, and they had a plane. But anyway, we'll talk about this later.
And the director Lester said he would be the only one that could play against Arnold, which is, I don't know why he said that, but I mean, you've seen a lot of Arnold movies. Anybody could do it. But
Lester, he was, what's his name? Starts with the B, right?
No, the Mark Lester. The director.
Oh, Mark Lester. I'm thinking of the villain, the main villain, Bennett. That's what I'm thinking of.
That's Vernon Wells.
In his outfit.
He also said that Bennett was in love with Matrix, but wanted to kill him. I'm going to be honest, I didn't see any of that.
You know, I actually get that at the end. With how he acted at the end, I definitely saw the obsession of being in love with this dude. I mean, just what he was wearing. I thought, it's just like...
I was going to talk about his outfit.
We'll get to that, but that outfit, I'm like, what kind of combat-ready outfit is this? Like, are you fighting? Because I was trying to strategically think, what bullet could this stop? Maybe it's more designed for chainmail with a knife. Who knows? But dear Lord.
Principal photography began on April 22nd, 1985, and wrapped on June 6th, 1985, after 45 days of filming.
Really? Only 45 days?
Yeah.
Shit.
Jeff Loeb wrote and produced a few movies, but mostly did comic book related movies and comic book related stuff. He worked with a lot of DC and Marvel stuff.
That makes sense. That seems like the right mind you'd want to have with that kind of film.
Stephen D'Souza wrote movies like Jumpin' Jack Flash, The Running Man, Die Hard, Die Hard 2.
Running Man, same one with Arnold?
Yes.
Oh, God, Street Fighter.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to review that one.
That son of a bitch Bison's ass.
That's going to definitely be a movie. Got to watch that one for sure.
Hold on. I lost my train of thought here. No, it's fine. No, I think he also did stuff like Judge Dredd, the Tomb Raider movie with Angelina Jolie, and he also did TV shows like $6 Million Man, Knight Rider, V, and Tales from the Crypt.
Some good movies in there.
Yeah.
I know I really like the Judge Dredd remake, but I honestly, the Stallone one has a special place in my heart. They're both good. That remake's actually one of the really good remakes. It's so much better than like the RoboCop remakes and stuff, which kind of leads me, I guess, to a question: is how do you think Commando would handle in a remake now? Because I feel like you have to pick a character that is iconic, like Arnold. Clearly has a ridiculous body, and you just got to have fun making the movie. That's really what this movie was fun.
I cannot think of anybody to fill that role in a remake.
Because it's not like, I would think maybe Jason Statham, but he's a whole different character. He's completely different. But hey, he might actually be perfect because he's not big like Arnold, but he's in those kind of action films. You could probably get some kind of comedy out of it.
And a few facts that I found that were interesting we could say before the movie. I could probably sprinkle these in like while we're talking
about it,
but I'd rather just...
you don't want to tease them?
No. The mall that they were in, that he fell into, was the same one in Terminator 2.
I bet because they're both in California, I guess they might have a good permit. I bet that mall probably got paid a lot for that.
Actually, this fact I'll talk about after. But,
do you know the name of the mall?
No.
I'm going to look that. I'm going to look that up and see how much like that mall might pop up in other stuff.
I did a whole bunch of notes. I did like 17 pages worth, and I got tired of writing, so I didn't look up everything.
I did a notepad.
Yeah. Oops.
You're 40 for a reason. It's okay.
I'm not there yet.
I'm sorry to offend everybody that's in that age bracket.
102 kill count.
Really, I'm glad you got that, because at the tail end of this movie, when I was watching it, I was like, what is the kill count here? Like, I was like, man, I should have just started marking them down. But I didn't think about it until that end because I didn't expect that. But we'll get to that.
And this movie hired more stuntmen than actors.
Are you sure about that? What about the dummies?
Well, there were some dummies. We'll talk about that.
that shit's funny.
Yeah. And, do you have anything else to throw in?
I mean, I kind of just looked at like where Arnold was kind of. I wanted to see how old he was during this movie, which I guess you could technically do math because he's like, he's in his 80s now, and this was,
Arnold. I think he was in
70s. So I know like he kind of got into acting roughly around like his late 30s to 40s, which is ridiculous because he looks stupidly good in this movie.
Yeah,
it's crazy. I mainly tried to look up that. I tried to see what the director did, and nothing really caught my eye besides like this might be this one and the Showdown in Tokyo might be the two most like famous movies he's done, and whatever those Classroom ones are, which I'm going to look more into those because I just want to know why it's good. But all his other movies, I don't know if they had that same campiness.
All right, so you ready to get into it?
Yeah.
Anything else to say?
That's pretty much it. I mean, to start off, I got to ask in the beginning of this movie is technically, I guess, the second scene, but why would you leave the keys in the showroom case of a car to allow the guy who is like clearly in there starting it up just to back up?
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
no.
Why? I was wondering why that was a thing. Because the first thing that popped in my head first was the garbage day scene. Because I think anybody knows.
How about we get to that?
Yeah, that was the first part. Was garbage day.
All I wanted to say is the movie opens with a 20th Century Fox logo, and it's so crazy to see that now because Fox is gone.
I'll be honest with you, I skipped through that because I've seen the logo so much. I'm just like, I was going to get to the movie.
Well, I did so. Yes, so it's weird going back and see that.
Yeah, no, it is a throwback for sure.
We open up with a garbage truck rolling down one of them, I guess, we call them suburbs.
It was just a suburb, and I think what got me about that scene is that the couple that woke up, they woke up so unnaturally because it was like, what's that sound? It's like, it's a garbage truck, dude. You'd probably be like, oh, shit, I guess we just won't get the trash today. Because I've done that where it's like the garbage truck clearly is passing. I can't get out there in
But
time.
they're so worried about the trash. It's like I know it had to happen for the movie to happen. But it's like, come on, you could have. I'm pretty sure you could afford another trash can. Just fill up the other one. Just bring 2 of them out there.
Yeah,
that's what I got 3 trash cans.
You had 2 of them out there. I mean, but again, it like could have waited.
So he gets out there. He's like, "Hey, you got one more? No, sorry, guys, thought you missed me." And then one of the gunmen, the bald guy, is played by Bill Duke. What I know him from mostly.
He was in some other movies too. I did not I knew he was in other movies, but I can't recall. Predator, thank you. He's in some other movies too.
Mac!
You're gonna blow people's ears out because you got a microphone literally right there.
Sorry, everybody. So
I mean, have fun with it, but damn.
So the husband says,
he doesn't say garbage day.
No, he's garbage day.
I was just curious because it's like this felt inspired. It's hard to obviously not put those 2 and 2 together.
One came out first, but I think that would have been funny if Bill Duke would have said garbage day.
I feel like this one probably came out first.
But the husband says, "I thought you missed me," and then he pulls out a gun. They had their guns hidden in the back right there, and he says, "Don't worry, we won't." He shoots the shit out of him. Awesome scene.
So you want to go through all the dialogue that they had talked to?
Not all,
because I was going to say that could take a little bit longer, but I understand what you're getting at because it's the same thing. Because the next scene, he's in a car dealership, and the guy's like, "Oh yeah, just go ahead and rev her up," and I'm thinking, did he get the keys? And I watched the scene, and from what I tell, the keys are in the car. He just and then backs up, and then of course the guy for no reason gets in front of the car like it's going to stop him. Like I don't.
He backs up and then runs into the guy and knocks him through the glass. I thought he rolled over. Honestly, I didn't think he rolled over. He did roll over, but I thought he was going to be fine. Then he drove off. He hit a vehicle. Then they cut back to the dude with his legs in different angles.
Yeah,
blood coming out his face. Like, okay, he's dead. But
yeah, that one. I don't know if that was in the one version I watched. Maybe I missed it. Maybe because I was, I guess, taking notes. But I know the next scene was obviously the shrimp boat exploding.
Yeah, I want to talk about this one real quick because
yeah, go ahead.
You show a guy walking to a boat, and he jumps over and taps one of the guys on the shoulders just to say, hey. And I tried to turn on the subtitles
to see what it was saying.
Yeah, because not the guy that jumped on the boat that dies in the explosion, but the other guy that he was talking to, I could have sworn I thought I heard him say, "Hey, Wes," because that's his character's name in Road Warrior.
Oh, okay.
But I tried to turn on the subtitles; it wouldn't say it. But I rewound it a few times, but I don't know if he said that or not. I mean, it would be cool for a little, thing. But the guy gets in the boat, and as he's driving off, you see Bill Duke and then the other guy that was with him. They're just looking at him. So he drives off and like, oh no, he's going to die. Pulls out the little thing and presses the button, boat blows up.
See, it is funny when you can tell something's going to explode by how like old or crappy the thing looks. You see that more with cars. Like it's almost funny. Or like if a car's by itself in a parking lot, it's like that car's going to blow up. I don't recall the next scene that happens. I know kind of shortly after this chaos, we eventually get to like Arnold being a caring father with his daughter for a bit.
So I like the shot they have in the mountains too.
Oh no, the whole that whoever's home that was has a beautiful scenery.
Yeah, I actually looked up to see where that was. It's somewhere in California, but I was also trying to see if it was in any other movie. I didn't see it. So
I mean, I could definitely see it being in a movie like other movies because that could have been someone's just home on the house too. That was like, hey, we'll pay you more to film here.
So they show someone walking. They show a chainsaw, boots, and of course a zoom in on a bicep. Pulls back and it's Arnold, of course.
2 biceps. You got to show both. And then you had to get the full body shot of showing how strong he was with the log. Thing is, it's kind of hard to say if that was a real tree or not, because knowing how strong trees are. But, I could disbelieve it because given how this movie is.
So he's chopping the wood, I guess, for his fireplace.
Don't believe it.
Everything's going fine, and then all of a sudden he gets a feeling like, oh. And then they show behind him someone sneaking up on him. So he uses the most reflective axe I've ever seen in my life to see.
Oh, you're talking about that scene. I forgot that he spotted his daughter with that. I always thought we were talking about a little forward on that.
Yeah, he turns around to his daughter, all sweet, played by the young Alyssa Milano, who people know from Charmed.
Yeah.
Remember that show?
I know, like, not to speed up a little bit, but I know that after that, we kind of just get, like, the caring scene of his father and stuff. Kind of shows Arnold's perspection, but not perspection of, like, he's very, not perspective. Like, his perception is really, aware of what's going on.
He's very good at what he does. I wanted to talk about, so he's sitting there, he's training her, I guess, to fight, go fishing and stuff. But the scene I really like is when they're outside of that ice cream shop and they're sitting there and there's no words, but they're trying to get his ice cream. She tries his ice cream and then he's going down to get hers and she shoves it in his face and she's laughing and he goes, and it's like you can't hear what he's saying, but I'd like to think, oh, bitch, I'm going to beat you when we get home. There's no word.
Well, that's dark.
Also another thing, too, I like the titles of the names and shit that come up.
Oh, yeah, it had that.
It's like a white line, and then under it, it's like the blue words with the white outlines.
Well, blue and white complement each other very nicely. Because I know, like, there's that, and then we lead eventually to him basically, like, sneaking up on the colonel or whatever, the general guy that shows up, which again has the shittiest outfit I've ever seen in terms, at least sweater. It's not that it was a bad outfit, it just was kind of like, really? Sounds like something I'd buy like at a Halloween store.
Yeah, so there's something that happened before, and then the colonel shows up to tell him all that, but I wanted to say real quick because they're sitting there eating lunch, and then he's I wrote it down right here because I wanted to talk about that. He's sitting down and he says, "Boy George, why don't they just call him Girl George for the confusion? It'll help the confusion or something like that." And then he's talking about music in Germany and stuff and all that. Yeah. And then he hears the helicopter, and then the colonel comes, and he sneaks up on him. I like that too.
I like that he snuck up on him, but my favorite part of that is his ability to smell.
Yeah, because the colonel says that people are killing his men, and so he wants his help, but he don't do that anymore. So, as the colonel leaves,
he was gone for 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, and there was already someone getting shot.
Yeah,
it was immediate.
He leaves behind 2 guys that he asks, "They were, are they the best?" He's like, "They are," or whatever, and then like not 5 seconds later, one dies and the other one gets shot bad.
Yeah,
and he tells them to keep downwind from him. I can't smell them.
I did.
So he runs out there. He goes upstairs and he goes out this door on his roof, and he runs to his little shed.
Yeah, to get his rifle. The thing I thought that was funny was when he opened back up the door to go into his house, and the guy he told to like keep low and downwind is there, and it's like, how did you know he was going to open that door?
He's leaning up. Yeah, he's leaning up against the door. They lean the body of the other guy that got shot, and he just falls over, which is I like that cliche in movies. They did something like that in Halloween H2O.
Well, it's like I guess I can understand it more in a horror movie because the character's supposed to be
more horror.
But it's like, what if he went to the other door and just be a body standing in the corner? See, they could have done that as a joke too, but
and then he comes in and realizes there's the guy sitting there. I think it was the other guy that was with Bill Duke at the beginning.
I think so, but I like how Arnold just shut the guy down. Didn't even talk with him.
He tells them all the stuff. Your daughter's been taken or something, and then he says, "Come on, you can do this" or something. He's like, "Right?" He's like, "Wrong." Just blows him off his chair. And so they're driving away to go get him, and Arnold's like, "I gotta chase him." Goes to his truck. They pulled all the shit out of the thing.
Yeah, I will say they definitely reused like 2 scenes of him going down the mountain when he had to push the car and then was trying to ram him. And they reused that same scene of him like, and I get it. That's really a one-take thing.
He pushes it and it goes, and they're like, they say, he's coming, and then he just goes past them.
Yeah.
The first time.
Yeah.
And then they go get him the second time. I think he hits one. Does he hit one the second time?
He hit one car, yes.
Yeah, then he flips over, gets out before it explodes. But I wanted to say, too, because that scene reminded me of another Arnold movie.
Go ahead.
Terminator 3. Did you ever see that?
I've seen it with God. It's been a long time.
John Connor and them, they pushed the hearse down the hill to try to go after.
That's probably a throwback.
Yeah.
I will say, I remember watching that part and was wondering, like, why aren't they just shooting up Arnold?
Yeah, why didn't they just shoot him? They all had their guns pointed.
But you understand that.
Well, they want him alive.
They want him alive. But at the time, I was like, why don't they just straight up shoot this dude?
Yeah. So he beats a few of them, and then they grab him. Don't move, motherfucker. They all have him on the ground. Then all of a sudden, the boatman's alive, and that's Bennett. The guy that's supposed to explode the thing. Nope, he's still there. How did he get out?
Oh, Bennett. His outfit.
Yes. Yeah, well, let's talk about his outfit real quick.
He stayed in that outfit the whole movie.
So he had black leather pants.
And
his boots were, I think they're motorcycle boots.
To be honest with you,
boots.
I didn't.
Negan from The Walking Dead.
I didn't notice the boots because the damn pink whatever chainmail he had.
I don't think it's pink. I think it's some kind
purple.
of
It's like purple
gray.
But I didn't get the color scheme.
Yeah.
And to be honest, that dude was nowhere near impressive as Arnold. It's like you should have got a dude maybe about at least a more muscular guy on the same level.
I like Vernon Wells.
Oh, he's a great actor. I loved him, but
I met him at a convention.
You did?
2015. I didn't get an autograph, but I got a picture with him, and he is Australian, so that accent.
I knew that, but it's hard when you got someone like Arnold that you're literally giving fan service of just bicep, abs, ass, and it's like there's this dude. Nothing against him, but it's like you almost got to have someone of equal muscular, or maybe not equal, but like a little bit more muscular to put up a fight. You losing track there, huh?
Yeah. These pages were ripped out because I didn't have another notebook to fill them in. So Dan Hidea's character, they kidnapped him, or they took his daughter and held him hostage because they want him to kill the president of a fictional country, Valverde.
The people of that country are going to be really hurt that you think it's fictional.
It is a fictional country.
How do you know that?
I looked it up.
I don't believe you.
I'm sorry. If you're from Valverde. President Velazquez. And so they took his daughter as leverage, And he just looks at him and just goes, fuck you.
I know, like, we eventually get to where they're on the airport. And because it cuts to the airport scene. That might have been one of my favorite, parts that build up that whole airport scene.
Because also in that other scene too, before it introduces the other two characters, which is my favorite character, Sully, and I think his name is Henrique. Not Enrique, which is that kept throwing me off. I was like, why is it an H? It's like, okay, but yeah, Sully, played by I think his name's David Patrick Kelly. Does he look familiar?
There was one, yes, he looked familiar, but there was one actor I saw that looked familiar. We'll talk about that because you obviously, I think, have the entire movie in your scripts, which is good.
I'm cutting out less than I wrote down, but I'm just using it just for a reminder. But David Patrick Kelly, he was, I think his name was Luther. Remember The Warriors? Did you ever see The Warriors?
I actually did not. I've been wanting to watch The Warriors.
Have you seen this clip where he has the bottles on his fingers?
Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah, that's him. The same
okay, I definitely see that.
He was also in The Longest Yard, the Adam Sandler remake.
Yeah, movie. I do know that.
He's fast. He makes people look not so fast. But I like him in this movie. He's a little creep pervert, too.
I do love how nonchalant Arnold kills that one dude in the plane.
Yeah, so we're talking about that.
That was really great.
I also like the line too when they go back to Matrix's house and Kirby's out there. He's like, "How many bodies?" There's a lot of them, and they're like, "How many more bodies?" And he said, "If he's still alive, I expect a lot more." I like that. We'll see. But they bring him to the airport. Sully he's going to watch them get on the plane, and when the plane takes off, he lets them know. And the other dude, Henrique, um, has to follow him there, so he has to make sure that he acts right. So well, I've also found that interesting too. That Matrix said, "How much are they paying you to do this?" And Bennett says, "They offered me $100,000, but when they said that it was going to be you, I told them I'd do it for free." It's like, I hope you at least just took the 100,000.
How
they offered it to you, just like,
now,
yeah, I'll kill them.
How much do you think that was back in the day to today's standards?
I don't know. I'm not good at the money.
If it was correct inflation wise, it's basically 300,000, and you got paid 100. Now I could be wrong. I just obviously just Googled that, but it was a little under 3 from what it was pulled up. But you almost can't trust anything because obviously the answer I got was from an AI thing, so that could have been just completely wrong. I got curious though because I was like, all right, what would that be in today's standards? So they start flying off on the plane though.
Well, before that, whenever they're about to get on the plane, but Sully goes, he tells them, don't try anything, one call and it's all going to be over. And then Sully says something, and then Matrix says, "You're a funny guy, Sully. I like you. That's why I'll kill you last."
Yeah, I liked that line a lot. The problem is that this is my first time seeing the movie.
Yeah, this was his first time seeing it. That's what I was going to ask. When's his first time seeing it? Today.
Yeah, literally saw it today. But that's the same thing like when you haven't seen the Rocky movies.
That's
so true. It's in that same feeling. So we'll have to go over those sometime. But I problem is obviously I knew all the build up parts, which would have been great if I didn't, because the payoff for that is great later. But I know they get on the plane.
When the lady says, "Do you have any carry-on luggage?"
Yeah,
just him.
Yeah, I thought that was a great line. Like just him. I'm like okay. I will. The way he takes that guy out was hilarious because he gets the blanket and pillow and just nonchalantly just elbows him and then breaks his neck.
Yeah, because he was like, "I need a pillow and a blanket."
Yeah,
he's going to use it to cover, so he gets it all ready. But when he's doing the thing, he just as hard as he could. But when the guy fell over, he just grabs him and pushes his head back into the corner.
Sound definitely had very comedic to it because he was very okay, and
I hope he puts it up. How long is this flight? She's like, about 11 hours. Oh, thank you. Oh, and please don't disturb my friend. He's dead tired.
Yeah. I'm glad you got. I missed that one-liner on that one. What I tried to do through this whole movie was see how many one-liners like that were in the movie. Roughly, there's a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, you have your very iconic ones, but I tried to give them the smaller ones like that, where it's like. But so the part that bothered me, I don't know if you have anything leading up to where he leaves the plane.
All I have is he gets up, I guess, to go to the bathroom, and the lady goes, "What's wrong?" He's like, "I'm sick."
Yeah, he goes. The part that got me is he goes out and gets on the wheel and stuff right before liftoff, and I'm thinking, okay, is he just gonna hit the concrete? I would not be surprised if he hit the concrete and survived, given what we're going off this movie. But he falls into. Now, the picture they showed, to me, looked like it was just grass and water. Looked like it was just land with some puddles of water. But he falls into what looks like a marsh.
Yeah.
And I was like, that wasn't there. And then what he landed in, definitely, I think, would have cut the shit out of him.
You also notice, too, when they show the stuntman jump, and then it's another cut, it's like a shadow of him. And it looks animated. Did you notice that?
Yeah, I've noticed that.
It almost looks drawn. And then when he falls, it looks softer. Like he was just jumping off of something else,
We did just review the new Captain America movie, and that's something I wanted to point out. I forgot to mention, but it's so weird given how advanced technology is now currently that you can spot when there's computer graphics. Because there's a part where they were looking down at a base very beginning of the movie, and I thought that looks like PlayStation 2 graphics, PlayStation 3 graphics. Because
Captain America?
Yeah, the new one we watched, Brave New World, where it was like it's the very beginning where he's looking down at the scene.
Yeah.
And it looked like it is just like PlayStation 3 graphics as they're like walking around. But that's not the movie we're talking about, though. I noticed the graphics obviously have gotten better, but it's funny when you can spot the stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So he fell out of there, landed in the water, and I know. Did he go to the mall afterwards? I know you got.
No, he made his way back to the airport to try to spot Sully as fast
Right.
as he can because he's going to follow him. But this is what I want to say. He's on the phone with him, but in front of him is she a stewardess or is she an actual pilot?
She, I believe, was a stewardess, probably wanting to train to be a pilot. I'd imagine.
She was saying she was training.
Yeah, but probably was like, hey, I'm in it. I might as well just be a stewardess. I think that whole scene where he's like bothering her and then she walks out to her car, how she did not notice this dude. Like at some point you notice, hey, this guy is following me. Like maybe like before she went to the parking lot, I could have been like, okay, I need to.
Yeah, as she's walking out, he's still puffing on a cigarette, hands in his pockets, just walking like no one's going to stop me.
Yeah,
no one's going to do it. But he's just trying to shoot his shot to her. Her name's Cindy, played by Ray Dawn Chong, and I just found this out. You know who her dad is?
No.
Tommy Chong from Cheech and Chong.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I literally just found this out. No, yesterday because I was doing notes.
I didn't realize that. How do you feel about her being in the movie as an actor? Because
I think she did good.
I kind of hate when stuff feels like it's shoehorned in because it's like it's kind of obvious like this lady's going to be in the rest of the movie.
They want someone to help them.
Well, they want obviously a female lead, and to be honest, Arnold probably demanded a female lead. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the videos of Arnold down in Rio, right?
No.
It is just basically film videos of Arnold going down to Rio and doing what Arnold does as Mr. Olympia, doing a lot of stuff that, probably people be like, but it is really, some of it's uncomfortable.
Yeah. That documentary, Pumping Iron.
This is pretty much another documentary.
Okay.
Yeah, but this is like him. It's literally just Arnold going on the nightclubs. That's what it is. But anyway, yeah, I kind of felt like it was forced, but I understand you want another person there because it helps and stuff if you got an actor, someone to play off of and stuff. But let's see. Go ahead, you continue, because it was basically like he literally. So the dude who got rejected, I can't remember his name, but he got Sully, was it? No.
Yeah. No. So he meets her in the garage while following her out there, and then and she realizes it, and she rolls her eyes like this guy, and
he immediately just calls her a whore.
They were talking. He was trying to hit her, and she was not interested. But then he goes, "I got something to give you," and then she said, "Not interested." And then he said, "You don't know what you're missing." And she said, "From the looks, no, from here it looks like a nightmare. I can't read my own handwriting." And then he just looks at her and goes, "Fucking whore."
That was so out of left field. Like, damn, dude. Like, he definitely
creeping on her.
Yeah, you don't take rejection easily. Jeez. But I will say, I love how this part is. You could tell the movie was having fun with it because Arnold shows up and decides he wants to rip a fucking seat out of a car. He literally could have reclined it back, could just sat in there normally, but no, he ripped the damn seat out of the car. And I get it. You have fun with your movie, because I definitely put that in the movie too, because it would have the same question of what. But they start going chasing, and I think at that point they eventually go to where he's going to the mall, and I know he's setting up a thing where it's like, hey, I want you to hit on this guy, get him somewhere close, that I can ambush him. Yeah. And it's funny how she basically like betrays him, because obviously at that point in the movie, she betrays him, and the guards are like trying to stop, and Arnold's beating him up. But dear God, the the telephone booth scene was hilarious to me because he starts manhandling, and I remember I was writing down a note going, Arnold manhandles the
Sully shot at him, cracked the glass, and Arnold came to shake it.
He manhandled it, but then he freaking picked it up over his head and threw it. I was like, holy shit. Yeah, I was like, dude. And the part is, I gotta give were those cops or security guards?
Those are security guards.
They don't get paid enough because they watched him throw that over his head, and then they all still went after him. Yeah. Bravo to them. They must have been getting paid really well.
I did want to point out the part
where, shit.
When he was hiding, waiting for her to get Sully. Mm-hmm. They call that skinny black security guard.
Oh yeah, big motherfucker.
All right, and he goes, y'all want to see something? Y'all want to see me bust crime or something?
Yeah, he wants to see. Yeah, it was something. He was hitting on him, but then he definitely admired Arnold because he was like, "This big,
gigantic motherfucker."
Yeah, that scene was great.
Yeah, and then he kicks all their ass, and then Sully notices, so that's when he's trying to get away. But Tarzan swings
off of a piece of plastic, which really shouldn't have held.
No, it should have ripped.
He should just. But I get it, movie. You know, we're gonna
right on top. Sully gets out and runs.
I'm pretty sure the way they did that stunt is they probably had a rope hidden in between it to actually support it as they did the jump, the swing onto the top of the elevator. And yeah, Sully was just like I was expecting him to try to shoot through the top or something. You know, that's the cliche thing. Like he's up top, I'm gonna shoot. Dude, clearly the Terminator, but I mean, shit, like.
He gets out. He gets in his car and drives away. So Arnold goes to...
When was Terminator 1? The first Terminator? 84. So this definitely helped play it into Arnold being that indestructible machine that chases and hunts you down. That's probably where this guy got inspiration of, like, I want to have Arnold, but I want him to just be indestructible. Excuse me.
You're good.
Well, I had a little bit of a belch.
So they get to the... So he gets to Sydney's car and starts to drive away, but she got out a little early. Cut in front of him. She's like, "I'm the other person in this movie. You can't go without me."
Yeah, that part annoyed me because really logically he would just been like and left. Yeah. But I understand.
You someone to fly the plane.
You gotta have that. It helps if there's a female there with the help, especially for the 80s.
When she goes, we did. I was doing this and that and something. Yeah. Then they end up chasing me. Yeah.
The over level.
No. Why is this always me?
I know there's the chase scene, which is kind of funny because I understand they're filming a chase scene. They're not going to be going high speed and stuff. They're way more limited compared to nowadays. But the part that made me laugh was it's like they do the back shot of the Porsche they're about to hit, and the car's really not going that fast. It's like just slowly going around a corner. And I don't know if you have anything to edit to this, but it probably has one of my favorite crash scenes I've ever seen in a movie.
Yeah, and the thing is, it didn't need an explosion or anything like most car crashes do. It goes up the hill too far and it rolls over.
Yeah, but that's not my favorite car. It's them hitting the telephone pole. Yeah. Because she should have died.
Yeah.
Because there was no scene. I don't know if you rewatched that scene, but fucking boom! I mean, it was rough.
And whatever was in the front, a stunt driver or a dummy, hits hard, man. And then it cuts to her, and she's
like, "Oh God!" It's like him just, "Are you okay? Are you okay?"
She goes, "I think I'm dead." He goes, "It's okay," and then gets up and goes.
Yeah.
So he grabs Sully out of the car and digs in his pocket, and you get the little key for a hotel that they're going to.
I will say that scene reminded me a little bit of. I don't know what the movie's called. You probably know because you're more. Well, I say we're about equal and wrestling fan, but you probably know this more. It's the Arnold. It's not the Arnold scene. It's the Hulk Hogan scene when he pulled the dude out of the car and he was like, What does that smell?" Yeah, that felt like that movie tried to copy this scene.
But I like what he said. He pulls him out and Sully goes,
"Yeah,
kiss my ass." And he's like, "I can't hear you." He's like, "I'll say it louder then. Get fucked."
Yeah.
So he grabs him and hangs him He's holding him like this, and then he eventually turns him and he grabs him with two, and then eventually with one. But if you can look closely at the top of the screen, you can see the wire that's holding him in place.
You said wire. I didn't notice the wire because it looked like Arnold was doing this, like he was almost supporting it.
It was one, two.
I have to go rewatch it, but it did look like he was like supporting that part of the arm, which I was like,
the wire was very noticeable. Well, to me at least.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's fine if you missed it.
I missed it because I was thinking like, okay, I was thinking the wire was like going up his arm into the foot, like a brace to help.
I think they could have used that, but the wire.
I gotta say, I loved the way his death looked when he fell and it just ragged off a cliff.
Yeah. So he holds him and he says, "Remember, Sully, I told you I'd kill you last." Yeah, Matrix, you sure did. I lied. And he just lets go, but then he goes,
yeah. It's not just that, it's a hard cut.
Yeah.
Where they were it's such a hard cut, and I love it. Was too good.
So
he flips the damn car, and we got a new car.
He flips the car like it's nothing. Use Sully's car, and they go to the hotel. That's Sully's hotel. So, and he's going to be meeting Bill Duke's character. I think his name was Cook. Did I write that down? Yes. So she gets on. They're looking for something. Turns on the shower, and he's like, "Pretend you're one of Sully's ladies or something." So he rips open her shirt to show some cleavage or something. She's like, "What?" It's like, whatever. So knocks on the door. Like, where's Sully? He's in the shower. So he's like, move. So he gets in there. He's looking. And then they get...
I will say that fight scene was probably the weakest one out of the entire movie.
Yeah. There's a couple of lines in there I like. And
we did get to see... We did see some boobs. But,
they kicks him through the door. And what was weird is it was a man and a woman making love.
Yeah.
But the way it looked when they popped up was the lady was behind him. Did you notice that?
Oh, I noticed that.
I'm pretty sure they were doing.
It could have just
normal,
been, it was.
But it was just the way it looked. It was fun.
Yeah.
And then he says, this Green Beret's gonna kick your ass. He's like, I eat Green Berets for breakfast.
Yeah.
Right now I'm very hungry. And then they beat the shit out of each other. And then he points the gun at him. This Cook points the gun at him and says, "Fuck you, asshole." Tried to shoot it, didn't work. And Arnold's, "Fuck you, asshole."
Yeah, that was really. Yeah.
Yeah. And then I guess he hits him a few times. Then he uppercuts him really hard and he flies back and you hear him land. And when you cut back, got a piece of wood.
Yeah, I really felt like that. I felt like him dying. He had the weakest death.
Yeah.
They could have done something a little bit more entertaining. Like, I don't know. It could have been different. Now, I'll let you lead us up to the next part, because I know obviously they searched the car and they find out they got to go to, like, was it what kind of facility was it?
Oh, fuck, I don't remember.
It was a facility. It was like a plane facility or something. It was something like that. And first off, I knew it was going to happen, but him just ripping the chain off with his bare hands.
Oh, yeah.
And it's funny because I was more thinking that because of Mark Henry when he ripped it off in real life, that whole backstory in the wrestling event in the cage. I thought, Arnold's going to rip this off. And he does. And I'm like, that's about what I expect.
Before that, when they're taking his car and he goes, "We'll take Cook's car. He won't need it."
Yeah. Still a nice car. They had a lot of nice cars in this movie. So, go ahead.
I was just going to say, he was taking out people like Solid Snake from Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah.
He even hit the dude and hit him in the closet.
The part that annoyed me about that whole thing, though, when they infiltrated, was just her having to come in.
Yeah.
And it's like, really, I know you're the plane expert here, but at the same time, Arnold's like military. He probably could put a little bit together on that. But I understand she was meant to fly. I get that. But it's like, she just randomly pulls out a plane like, look, it's a Sea-Doo. It's like, really?
I think the way they figured out, I think that...
It was coordinates.
Yeah,
and then that.
Santa Barbara was where those plans.
So, here's my thing, because the next part, don't they go, quote-unquote, shopping with a bulldozer?
Shopping.
So, what kind of store did they go into?
I don't know.
That was not a hardware store, and I called
surplus. That's what.
Okay, maybe that would make a little bit of sense, but I call bullshit on it being in California and how much fucking guns were in that one room. That was military level of guns.
It almost looked like you walk into the gun shop at a GTA game.
Yeah, like the gun stores here we go into I've never seen that level of arsenal. And then, I was surprised they actually had some California what's the word I'm thinking of? But basically where like the type of gun is allowed, which you probably would notice this. Arnold had, I don't know what kind of gun it was. It was an AK though, modeled after that. And it was California compliant. And it's where instead of just having like the stock part of the handle, it wraps around to a loop where your thumb has to go in. And I was actually surprised that they had that in there.
Yeah.
It surprised me. They clearly had infinite ammo too. That's what happened later on.
Yeah, we'll get to that. I love how he's throwing everything in the buggies. Like
the rocket launcher. That I call bullshit on. It's like you fucking selling a rocket launcher, and in California of all places, like fuck off. I get it. Movie. I was already accepting it, but I was like,
but everything was going well, and the cops show up. 2 cops come in, point the gun at him, and then it cuts to like other cops outside, and him just walking out like in defeat. Like,
yeah, and he got arrested, but wasn't she in the building too?
She got out the back and put the things in the car.
That's why. I thought she was still in the movie because I guess I might have missed it when I was taking notes, but I was like, why is there a rocket launcher here? Like bullshit. Like I can understand some of this arsenal, but what?
And he's basically like, "Oh, I'm defeated,"
That means they sold grenades too.
Yeah, had some grenades.
Okay,
Claymores too. Apparently,
80s was a different time.
Oh yeah,
but cocaine and grenades.
She pulls up to the light next to him, kind of flirting. The cops are like, "Oh, lady," and then they drive off. And then like, "Oh, she's still sitting there." She stands up and reaches in the back and pulls out a fucking rocket launcher. Now they're like, "What is he doing?" And you think they're going to blow it up, but then she shoots the other way. She was holding it the wrong way.
I will say this though, still, and I get it that Arnold didn't see it, but I think it's funny that she read the instructions and still got it wrong.
Yeah. So then she turned it around and shot it again, and I thought it was supposed to go straight, so then eventually hit something, but it kind of did a little hurt and then hit under it and blew it over. It didn't blow it up.
Yeah.
Which I don't think that would have happened. Then again, I don't know anything about rocket launchers except they blow up. They shoot rockets. That's all I know. And then Arnold gets out of there. And then they make it to the plane, trying to turn it on. She doesn't know what kind of plane it is. She's trying to turn it on. People are shooting at him. So Arnold, he does the cliche, I hit it 3 times with my fist.
Yeah, always works. Yeah. I will think it got me was when they were just starting to fly off, how violently the green screen was shaking for the plane, the front of the plane. Like it wasn't like this. It was like violently just shaking. Like to the point where I was like, you guys would have crashed. There's no way it would have worked. But then it's like they realized that and they like fixed it where it wasn't as shaky. I was like, good Lord.
Okay. So then, they're flying and they go over some kind of military thing.
Mm-hmm.
And the person that was talking to him on the thing, I was like, man, that voice sounds familiar.
Yeah, who I don't know the actor. I know who it is. Like seen him.
Bill fucking Paxton.
Thank you. I was like,
Bill
this
Paxton
dude.
Was in the movie.
I was like, this guy is like recognizable. I've seen him.
Rest in peace.
He's gone.
Yeah, died in 2017, heart attack.
Oh, was that the year when everybody was like croaking in 2017? It was like just back to back to back.
Yeah.
Man, that's good.
He was such a good, he directed a couple of movies. I know he directed that movie Frailty with Matthew McConaughey. I don't know if you've ever seen that. That's a good one. Like a great twist in it. Multiple twists actually. I don't want to give any of it
Frailty.
away,
I'm gonna have to check that out.
But it's pretty good. I'll explain it to you after. But yeah, it's him. And I miss that guy. Like every role they did, like Weird Science, he played the older brother that was an asshole.
That's right.
And,
yeah.
What was it? What's his name in Aliens?
I know who you're talking about, but I don't.
Game over, man.
Game over. Yeah.
Twister, of course. But
yeah.
He also was in this movie. I think it was in 1987.
Fun fact about Twister. Did you know how they filmed that movie?
What do you mean?
The movie Twister. Do you know how they filmed that movie?
How?
So apparently, obviously when you're outside, the cameras get overexposed to light. So what they did is they had giant bright lights shining on them to overexpose them. Then in post, when they filmed it, they dropped the camera down to give it that over cloudy look to it.
Really?
Yeah. And because of this, the actors went home like that late at night and got like temporary blindness.
Oh, I heard that
from staring at the bright light. I'm like, fuck, dude.
That almost reminds me of those old movies when they're doing day and night shots. If they're doing night, they blew the sky like really dark looking.
It's
like,
hard
to tell.
Yeah, I saw that recently in one like Western I watched called Appaloosa. Definitely recommend it. There's a scene where I was like, man, this is like a 2017 movie and we're still seeing blue screen, like the blue darkness. But yeah, so they take flight. There's a scene where they go under the radar to get underneath it, and they land, and I was waiting for it, but we do get the Arnold fan service of him just basically in a Speedo.
Shoot up. Yeah, he's in a Speedo.
That one was definitely for the ladies because you get the back shot of him rowing, you saw the front shot and all. I mean, it's just like Jesus.
He said he has to wait, and then he gave her some stuff to say on the walkie-talkie so they can get a hold of Colonel Kirby or whatever his rank is. But I want to talk about something too that they flashed a few times to Jenny, sad just sitting there. Then they cut to the one scene where she takes the handle, gets the little point on it, and she's trying to pry the boards off of there, which is something I want to talk about in a second. But they also had people guarding her. But they had Bennett walks by, and one of the soldiers says, "Slitting a young girl's throat is like cutting warm butter." And I don't know if you noticed, but did he look familiar to you?
He stuck out to me because of that, but I couldn't place it.
Well, his name is Thomas Rosales Jr. He's an actor and a stuntman. Notable works include, apparently he was doing stunts for his first appearance in 1973 in one of the old Planet of the Apes movies, Battle for the Planet of the Apes. But he was in RoboCop 2. He was in Predator 2, in Scarface, Tremors 2, The Running Man, Con Air, and Face Off. But I wanted to know if you remembered him most because he was in Lost World Jurassic Park. Do you remember the scene when everyone was sleeping and the T-Rexes came into the camp?
I have not seen that movie in a while.
Well, they're all sleeping in the camp. And Jeff Goldblum notices, and everyone's like, "Shh, be quiet," so no one moves. That one soldier that wakes up and screams, and then the T-Rex is walking, and it steps on him, and the T-Rex takes a couple steps, and he's stuck to it. But on the second one, he comes off into the puddle. That's the same guy.
Quick note: give me your best Jeff Goldblum impersonation now.
Go. I can't do Jeff Goldblum.
You just talk with a little bit of inflection. Like dinosaurs, life has a way.
My favorite food.
I know mine's terrible, but it's like you do like a little bit of inflection.
Remind John for a lovely weekend.
See, the dude though that you named, I realized why I didn't notice it because looking at your list, I see RoboCop 2, Predator 2, Tremors 2. It's all like terrible sequels compared to their.
No, those are good sequels. When's the last time you watched them?
I watched RoboCop 2 recently, but it did not hold up as good as the first one because it was it's basically just a retelling of the first movie, but not as good. Predator 2, probably my least favorite, and Tremors 2 has been a long time.
We should do the Tremors because I would really like to watch.
You want to do all the way through 9?
There's only 7.
There's 7. I kind of just cut it out. I think there might actually be a new one.
No, I haven't heard anything yet. If there is,
all I know is they got to ice, and I was like.
Yeah.
Progression.
But yeah, Thomas Rosales Jr., the dude appears in everything.
Someone's here.
Mailman.
Oh, Mailman. Gotcha.
Mailman. We're filming at a friend's house. By the way, all this set is just temporary until we can actually find a real place to do it. That's the hard part about starting one of these.
That's why we're in a car on some parts.
Yeah.
We may be in the woods next time.
Maybe in the woods.
Maybe in an abandoned building.
Maybe in your house, in the bathroom, sitting next to each other. No.
It'll be him. I won't.
But okay.
So we're back at the point right where Arnold just got all suited up. And really, other than just a straight action scenes, you're talking about his daughter pickpocketing and breaking off the wood. And that kind of just goes in between the action scenes, which I don't know if you want to talk about the action scenes first or that.
Well, first of all, I wanted to say was they also cut to the plane that he was on originally lands, and I guess it hits a bump to where the guy that was dead tired, his friend that was dead tired, falls over, the hat comes off, and his skin is the same color, bluish purple as in the zombies from Dawn of the Dead. With
Did they showed that?
Out of his nose. Yeah, it was a quick scene because
I didn't see it. I didn't see that. I laughed. See, I think so for me that made me laugh is I didn't see that scene and I completely forgot about that guy and I just saw the part where they're pulling him out of the plane. I just laughed. I'm like, oh yeah, and it's like just the way it got revealed. It was like, oh damn.
But yeah, that was his friend that was dead tired.
Yeah.
I love how he sneaks into the place and he's setting up everything. He's setting, and he's also,
that mine should have immediately gone off because I think he set it and it was armed, but then he got right in front of it to choke the dude.
Yeah,
maybe he didn't turn it on, but my immediate thing was, did he turn that on? And he's standing in front of it.
I mean, I know how grenades work when you pull the pin and throw it, but claymores, I know they face a certain way and you cross the beam and it blows up. But he was facing it towards the building. That's what it looked like.
I think it's a shockwave or something.
Could be.
Excuse me.
But it was funny too because his suit up scene when he was doing all the stuff, grenades, shotguns, and then he props that one big ass gun on his shoulder. Is that the one you said with the loop?
Yeah, it's got the loop. It's an AK.
He looks like a character in a video game that's on New Game Plus when you have all the weapons unlocked. Like he has everything. But he goes to do that. He takes out a couple of enemies with his knife. One guy he stabs.
I really like the way he was killing with the knife. I think my favorite one was the projectile knife because he says something. He either says something or he goes like, and like shoots the dude with the knife. It was something that made me go like, all right, what the hell?
He throws one guy. It hits the one guy here. He holds it. Then the other guy gets hit in the neck and he's holding it. They fall to the ground.
Dude, they got hit.
He throws a knife and then shoots the knife. And then he picks a guy and like slices his throat. I don't know in what order exactly, but he basically kills with knives. And then he sets up everything like it's going to explode. And as he takes off running to the next point, there's a dude up in the tower that sees him. Like all them stealth games that you try to sneak around. That one guy up there always sees you. So he turns around and shoots the dude. And the guy, it was one of those like, I'm definitely going to be falling off of this. He like turns and just falls off the thing. And just all hell breaks loose.
Yeah, the building exploding actually was kind of almost random to some extent because how much just happened.
But before that, though, like he said, so the dead tired friend gets taken out of the plane. Then the two guys that were waiting, they see the cart with the body, and they go, "Oh, what's going on? I bet it was Matrix." They go out. As soon as they see his face, they realize it's the dude, so they do it back, and then they run to the booth and start calling him. And they call Dan Hedaya's character, and he's waiting. Which I wanted to say earlier, the Dan Hedaya, that bad guy, is it just me, or did his chin look like the tip of a penis?
I was more thinking like a butt.
Oh,
like a butt chin.
Because I've seen Vince McMahon has that dimple chin that looks like a butt, but his looked deeper, like it was a pee hole. That's what it looked like to me. Oops. Yeah.
Go ahead, continue. You're the one that brought it up. You do the next segment.
But they call him, and he answers. They tell him, and he hangs up.
I know they had a title drop at one point in there because they say Commando because you got to have that in these movies.
Oh yeah, it was like the thing.
Yeah, I was like, all right, title drop.
But he looks at Bennett and goes, "Kill her." And Bennett's just sitting there with a gun. I don't know what he was doing with it. And then
he was messing with the slide.
Okay. Well, he goes, Oh yeah. So when the buildings blow up, I wanted to say I think we were getting there. So the buildings blow up once all hell breaks loose, and it explodes. And there's people standing in front of it. You see a few people kind of fly back, like "Oh, explosion!" Like it does. That's not really for an explosion. But they had dummies set up.
The dummies that obviously stood out because they just wasn't
They
moving.
didn't move when it blew up. None of
And
them moved.
they had a close-up side, like, lower scene, and you can clearly see what's supposed to be like a gun propping it, but it's a pole.
Yeah.
Like, it's so obviously dummies. And I maybe it was a lot harder to spot during those times, but I was just like, really?
So people are getting shot left and right. And when you were talking about his weapons of infinite ammo, I don't think so, because if you think about it, everything he used, he ran out and discarded.
He shot way more out of that AK than what was actually there. Okay. I want to say that can only hold roughly. I mean, I don't know, but he shot more than that. I'm not going to throw a number out because I know someone's going to say, "Oh, it's really this." He shot more than he should have with that. I believed the pistol shots and the shotgun shots way more than the other.
Talk about, I think he had infinite ammo. That reminds me of the end of season 2 of The Walking Dead when Herschel had the infinite ammo shotgun.
Yeah.
When he was standing in the middle of the whatever, just like no reloads or anything.
Yeah.
I always think about that. But then Cindy gets a hold of Colonel Kirby. Well, not a hold of him, but she calls, and then they're like, "Sir, you got to come see it." And then he gets in there, and that's when he's getting everybody ready. But Arnold's starting to run out of ammo and hides in a little shed. And there's also something that I noticed. I don't know if you did too, but it looked like some of those, not all, but some of those soldiers were in brown face.
I think they were.
And then some of them had fake sideburns and fake mustaches. Like they didn't even make it look like hair. I mean, I could be totally wrong, but I've watched the movie twice.
It didn't stick out to me. Like, if they did, it was definitely.
It stuck out to me, but I'm not going to complain about it. I'm just being noticed because we like to pick out this kind of stuff. It didn't bother me. But he gets into the shed thinking about what he's going to do. They all shoot at him, and then he's looking around weapons, like, what am I going to use? He looks up and sees the saw blades.
Yeah, I liked how he did the saw blades.
So, in this order, they open the door. He stabs the guy in the stomach with the pitchfork, takes one saw, throws it at a guy, sticks it in his chest, throws it at another guy, and fucking scalps him. It comes up the top. It just goes like this, and as he's going, the guy goes, "Oh!" and falls back. That was one of the guys that looked like he was in brown face. His face looked painted. That's what I was saying. But they're supposed to be in another country. But
stop for talking real quick.
They go over there and kind of start talking.
I was going to say, that's a lot of people. Pause it real quick. I'm just curious at this point.
Yeah, sorry about that, folks. We thought we were about to be attacked.
It's not really being attacked. There's like way more noise outside than normal, and it's kind of like, what's going on? But the person's house we're at informs that just happens. Apparently, there's a band, so we may have background music. Now I almost want to drive by and go see what it is.
But so he gets the guys with the saw, and the guy falls back immediately, and then he takes an axe, stabs it in the dude's crotch.
The way, I think the saws might have been one, like that was really cool. I liked how they led up to it, and he's like, the guy getting, I think the guy who got his arm chopped off by the machete, the one that, who liked the butter. That was he probably got it the worst. I don't know, because it's like he ain't gonna die immediately. He's gonna feel that.
Oh yeah, but yeah, and then he eventually gets a gun and he starts to shoot everybody again. Well, I wanted to say earlier too, because when he was running out of his big guns, and he pulls out what I thought was a 9mm, and as he starts to shoot it, it's making way louder noises than what I thought it was for a little gun like that.
A 9mm is loud.
I don't know. It sounded louder than it should. However, when I looked at it, it was a Desert Eagle.
Gotcha.
It was way louder than it should have been. I don't know anything about guns, but I was like, that. I don't think that should come out of that. Anyway.
Did you know what gun, what's his name, was using in the new Captain America movie? Gus. The revolver looking.
No, what was he using?
It's called a Rhino.
Is that a real thing?
It's a real gun, yes. It's actually probably one of the coolest revolver designs. It's very aesthetically. It's not your standard revolver. It's got looks more futuristic, but you see that in a lot of movies now because it has the futuristic look. Kind of like how what was it, the Clint Eastwood movie with Dirty Harry, that iconic revolver. It's that same kind of thing. But that's just fresh in our mind because we literally saw it today. So we got out of that scene. I think at that point, it eventually cuts to the girl breaking out.
Yeah.
Roughly
okay, I
in
want
that.
to talk about that too because it took her, I don't know how long she was farting around with that, and eventually got out, and Bennett noticed the hole. He looks in, sees her run down the stairs, so he fucking plows through it in a second.
Wait, did you see how thin that wood was?
Yeah.
Way thinner than what should have been.
Definitely.
It's like I feel like the girl could have broke through that.
But and then
there really wasn't much of a go ahead. Let's see if it's.
I was just gonna say, I feel like I've been talking about a lot about everything, but right here it's definitely coming to an end. There's a lot smaller things because Arnold gets another gun, like I said, and starts mowing down more people. He eventually gets into the house and kills Dan Hidea's character with a shotgun.
That fight, I guess I expected him to be some kind of cheesy one-liner, but I can excuse it given that he's not really the main target in this situation. So, but yeah, he shot him, at least shotgun-wise, he shot him, I think, 4 times. You hear about 4 shots, and the iconic falling out the thing and hitting.
Backed up really hard just to break the window.
Yeah.
And flips over
I think, and I know eventually it's cutting between that and his daughter running away from
in
Bennett.
a boiler room.
In a boiler room, and the daughter, forgiven how she got out, she's also really stupid just to go, "Daddy!" like at it just randomly thing. I understand she probably was hearing Arnold, but it's like, come on. Go ahead.
So Bennett shoots him in the shoulder.
Yeah, he got shot in the shoulder, and you mentioned, did we mention this in the beginning of the film before we started recording, where, because he talks to him like, you want to kill me with a knife, and he's doing the whole thing, and you said like, yeah, you did say how there was kind of this like sexualist tension, like he was obsessed with him. I think that scene really kind of proved it because of how just crazy he started acting, like, oh, I want to, and it's like
he was dead set on shooting him, but when Arnold's saying that stuff, he basically just changed his mind.
Yeah, he changed his mind, and obviously because he wanted to feel the knife go in and stuff.
Bennett, let's potty. So they're fighting, and and
you got to have that strong pose of him with the knife, like flexing.
And you got to have the villain taken over, and then it switches to the good guy because he's starting to shove Arnold's head into that fire, like and pushing him with his hand in his chin, and then they switch. Then they get off, and then Bennett rips the door off that thing and fucking hits him in the face.
He does throw Bennett into an electrical fence.
Yeah,
which really should have just killed him right there. But
it would have been Arnold, and it just been ow.
I would have understood if Arnold got thrown there. I could understand him surviving. But
Arnold wasn't going to die. But yeah, so he's then he says, "You're a dead man, John." He has him on the ground, and bullshit. And then he punches a bunch of quick. He kills him with quick punches.
He literally had, I think it was about 5 to 8 punches. I feel like 6 might have been what it was, but it was quick cut punches. Like he just like got a superpower and just unleashed it.
So he hits him, and he's about to go take him out, and then Matrix rips the pipe out of the thing and throws it at him, stabs him. Blood coming out the mouth, and he's dying, and then it lets steam out. And it cuts to Arnold, and he says...
I'm looking to make sure. Oh.
You wrote it down?
I wrote it down. Just want to make sure. Well, it's let off some steam.
Bennett.
Let
off some steam, Bennett. And that's the end of the fight. Arnold's trying to get out with his daughter. Kirby shows up. And... like, leave anything for us? They're just bodies. And he wants him back. He wants him to still do the thing. To join his team, but he doesn't want to go. And as he's walking away, Kirby says, "Until next time." John looks at his daughter. No, looks at Kirby, looks at his daughter, and then looks at Cindy. Cindy's sitting there waiting for him. Turns back to Colonel and says, "Not a chance."
I will, and then we finally hear a different theme song.
Yes.
I swear they only paid for 2 different music.
Called "We Fight for Love" by Andy Taylor. I wrote that down because I kind of like that song.
Well, it was the fact that they definitely reused that jingle that you hear throughout the whole movie, and then we finally hear a different song. And it's like, oh shit, that's surprising.
And I forgot to write down too, but the music in the movie, not the song at the end and stuff. The music was done by James Horner, and James Horner is like a well-known music composer.
Yeah,
he did for like Aliens.
Yeah,
and a whole bunch of, I think, Titanic. But there was a whole others. I forgot to write them down. Stupid me. Wrote down everything but that. And roll credits, and that's the end of the movie.
That's pretty much it, though.
So,
It's Commando.
what did you think about your first time watching?
Oh, I enjoyed it. I definitely would say this is an 8 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I think I'll go with that.
I want to say 8. I mean, I didn't say an 8.5 because it's exactly what I want in a movie. Like that 80s, just right to the point. It's you get into the action. It didn't feel like it dragged, and it kept you entertained. Definitely got your kills. But you say probably about an 8.
I'd say about an 8 too. Yeah, definitely. It was fun.
What was your favorite kill?
My favorite kill was Sully.
I gotta say that too. I think the hard cut after that sells it.
Yeah,
it's already fucking insane. Though him ripping that pipe off was pretty ridiculous too, because that was a big pipe. I thought it would be a smaller pipe because I've been spoiled to some of the scenes, but he threw a huge pipe.
Talking about Arnold quotes, I forgot. Like when he killed Sully, they're about to get in the car and drive away. She goes, "Where's Sully?" He goes, "I let him go."
Yeah. I tried to count how many, but I think I was too far in the movie. But the ones that I got that I was considering to be lines like that was maybe 13. I know there's way more of like one-liner quips that 80 movies have, but yeah, I was like, there's definitely more than just this.
I think Arnold movies have better like quotes. You know what I mean?
Well, that has to do with him.
Yeah, it has to do with him.
You know,
Predator's full of
because they don't have that in. I mean, they got it in Rambo, but it's like I don't know. It's something the way with Arnold.
I don't know why he's the king of one-liners.
It's the accent.
Yeah, there's a video that it's like from A to Z Arnold quotes. It's like A is for yeah. B is for bullshit.
Yeah, I've come across.
I think my favorite, but the thing is, it's clips from Arnold movies, but someone is dubbing them over and adding just a little bit more like funny to it.
Right?
Because I forgot it was F. We actually talk about this video at work. Like every time it gets to F, like everyone's like, "Oh, my favorite one is this" or something, or M for Mac. But my favorite one is F. It's like F. I think it's from that movie they did, Hercules in New York. It's like, "Fine chariot, but where's the horses?"
Oh my god.
Yeah, but that's a funny video, and yeah, that was Commando.
Commando 1985. Yep, about an hour and 30 minutes, really, which is the nice, good,
30 minutes.
Nice, good kind of cut. That's why I said that's like the perfect for a movie.
You know how like some movies,
it didn't drag. That's what I like
too.
It
didn't drag at all. I liked it a lot, but
I would definitely give it 8 out of 10.
8 out of 10.
Yeah. Can't do to get to the chopper or let off some steam, really, at that point.
Let off some steam.
So, Bennett.
But, yeah, so this was our first episode of Real Reviews Podcast.
Still kind of figuring out the formula. We'll get better over time.
Are going to change several, so we apologize for that. I didn't think it'd be this hard. Hopefully our buddy Joshua has filmed some until we can get it done. Find a place. He's over there. We're at his house.
Why are you peer pressuring him?
Huh?
Why are you peer pressuring?
I'm not peer pressuring him.
Yeah, you are. You're staring at him while you do it.
Oh, was I?
Yeah, you pointed and gestured.
I think I was mostly staring at the popcorn. But yeah, so we're going to talk about mostly this. Hopefully,
we're going to talk about movies. I'm pretty sure we all have our iconic ones. I want to watch some really shitty ones, like so bad that it's good. But we will be uploading. We're going to kind of figure out a schedule here on how much to upload and kind of see going between long podcasts and short little bite movies, maybe like in the theaters, and see what, review from there.
But yeah, so we are going to talk about some bad movies, but not all, but a lot of the movies that we're going to talk about are from 85, my year I was born. I'll be 40 this year.
I'll definitely do a 90s one when I turn 35.
Yes. We'll do that. We'll even do that too. We don't know what's next. We're actually going to sit down and figure that out right now. But we need you all to like and share and subscribe to our channel.
Like, comment, subscribe, and hit the button. Get that algorithm going. There.
Algorithm?
Yeah, dyslexic.
Yeah, it's okay.
Obviously,
like
in front of a camera.
Effluent.
Josh, you can hit the button now.
Hit the button. Thank you all.
Later.